Hello. Hello.
Yes, yes, sir.
Good evening to all participants from Bhaviskar.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, madam.
Oh, good evening. Now start, sir. On behalf of Western India Regional Council, the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, the Professional Development Committee, I welcome all of you for the today's webinar on macroeconomic, eco conditions and cost accountants. Our today's speaker is CMA Robin Banerjee, sir. He is a chairman of Nuclear Research Private Limited, a global clinical research company. Earlier, he served as the managing director for the Carfensis Limited for over a decade. Prior to that, he served in several multinational global corporations in senior leadership positions, including Hindustan Unilever as a general manager, Mittal Germany as a MD, Thomas Cook ex-directors, SR Steels ex-directors, Suzlon Energy Group CFO and member of board. Also, Robin Banerjee sir is a chartered accountant, cost accountant, company secretary and MCOM. He has been the immediate past chairman of CII, Maharashtra State Council, and also the past chairman of CII Western Region ESG Committee. He is a member of the Board of Studies for Independent Directors, Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs, Government of India. He is also on the board of SME Chambers of India. He has recently received 2 Hall of Fame awards, one for the Finance from CFO India magazines in February 2023 and the other for Manufacturing from Manufacturing Today's magazine in September 2023. He has authored 3 business non-fiction bestsellers. They are Corporate Frauds, Bigger, Broader, Bolder, Who Cheats and How, and third one is Who Blunders and How. I welcome, sir. Now I request, sir, to kindly start the session, sir.
Well, good evening, all of you.
Good evening, sir.
It's a pleasure to talk and speak to my fellow members of the Institute. I understand it's a long session. I have been told that our session is from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. That is 2.5 hours. When we do a webinar, of course, it is very boring. I don't have a PowerPoint presentation. Perhaps it becomes more boring, or maybe it is more interesting. It all depends upon how you look at it. I always feel that a PowerPoint presentation does not help the participant, but it only helps the presenter. Our canvas, my dear friends, is very large. We are talking about the ecosystem, which who can describe the ecosystem cogently in a few hours' time? Perhaps no one. Whenever we talk about ecosystem, we are also talking about what will happen tomorrow. So we are talking about today, tomorrow, and of course, yesterday. So we have a large canvas. We have a fairly large time, 2.5 hours, which is not very easy to keep or maintain patience. And number 3, we are not eye on eye or eye to eye. Most of you could be sleeping, keeping your mobile or laptop on. Most of you would be perhaps discussing or concentrating on something else. So it is very, sometimes, not sometimes, most of it is very disheartening to many of us who are not professional speakers. We are one of you. I'm a cost accountant like you, and therefore would like to share some experiences as to how the ecosystem is, what the canvas is, and what is it in for us, the cost accountants. Most of you are perhaps cost accountants. Many of you may not be cost accountants, but the fact that you have joined this session, you are definitely from the finance to accounting to costing field. I have a suggestion to make. And that suggestion is I want each one of you to put on the videos. Now, most of you will say, my bandwidth is not good enough, so videos cannot be put on. If you don't put on the videos, then I wouldn't even know that how you are doing. So it would be impossible for me to understand eye to eye that whether we are making sense. We are making sense at all or not, or I'm making sense to you at all or not. So it would be nice so that we can be eye on eye, eye to eye, as I say. And that's called governance, isn't it? If you expect governance, that governance is we must be very transparent and ethical. None of you, of course, have put on the video, so you have not given credence to what I said, but that's okay. I leave the judgment to you guys. So
Sir,
I can't see you. Yes.
Sir, actually the camera option is not enabled for us. I think it's only it says only select participants can share video. But
One second, sir. I will change the settings. Sir.
Please do that because it is important. I am not a professor. I am
Yes,
one
sir.
of you.
Yes.
It would. I assure you, it will be an interesting discussion. So issue number one, if we can contact each other in a way that see each other. One. Number two, I'm so happy that one of you did speak. I think it was Aman. So
Now it
we
starts,
must.
sir.
Wonderful. Whoever wants to switch on your video, please do that. It would definitely help me. It helps at least to see that, yes, some of our participants are at least seeing what is happening. Thank you. Thank you, Aman. Thank you, Sandeep. Very kind of you. Thank you. Very kind of you. So I'm so glad that we are all on the same page. At least some of us are awake, if I may say so. Now, so the two things I would like to tell you. One, as I said, if you can keep the camera on, that'd be nice for me. Number two, we should have a dialogue and not a monologue. That means monologue, as you know, it's defined in the dictionary as I speak and you sleep. I hope you know what's monologue. So let's not do that. I'm awake, you're also awake. And number two, please ask questions or challenge me what I'm saying, because there is no right or wrong answer. There is just a statement of fact. It is important what I would do as I go along. I would basically try to paint two pictures. Picture number one, the ecosystem, which is India and non-India. And number two, what is it in for us as accountants? You could be a cost accountant. It could be an MBA. It could be anything else. We could be as an accountant. Of course, my intent is to focus more on CMAs, cost accountants, because we, the cost accountants, have some special skills. And therefore, in this new world, in the world which is evolving, we will have some special requirements, if I may say so. That is how it will emerge. So we are going to discuss the ecosystem. We will discuss the role which we will have. Time, I'm not too sure whether all of you will have the energy to listen to me for 2.5 hours, but we can, of course, cut it short. We can have our dialogue as we go along. And every question, I'm reasonably sure that I should be able to answer most of your questions. If I don't know the answer, of course, I will always say that I'll get back to you, and we can always get back with a answer. So the first check I would like to do, all of you can hear me. Is my English okay? Can you hear me? Is the sound okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, no, maybe?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Oh, thank you, Sandeep. Great. So, what am I trying to swap? Our topic of discussion today is very esoteric. Esoteric in the sense, ecosystem. As we have been hearing, and there has been lots of positive news about India, that all of us on almost every other Indian channels, whether it's Indian newspaper, Indian YouTube channels, Indian WhatsApp messages, are very positive in India. Whatever you read, Indian journalists, Indian analysts, Indian investors, people based out of India, the picture is very positive. I'm not too sure how many of you read Financial Times and how many of you read The Economist. Financial Times, as you know, is the largest selling business newspaper. The Economist is the largest selling business magazine. Both of these, unfortunately, do not look at India. We from India are looking at. So I would try to explain as I go along as to what is their concern. Why the hell that Financial Times are not bullish on India? Why the hell the Economist magazine is not bullish on India? So I will try to explain to you that also. Our ultimate objective is to figure out what are the opportunities which are emerging for we the cost accountants, we the accountants, we the finance managers, or whoever in this, let's say, field which is acting to this, maybe taxation. Some of us might be in taxation, some of us might be doing auditing, and some of us must be doing valuation. So these are all these fields which are akin to the finance, accounts, and cost accounting field. The way I would like to start my explanation of the ecosystem is a little different. I want to explain the way we, the professionals, would like to understand. And definitely, I can assure you this is not from Google Auntie, and neither is it from any YouTube channel. So let me try to paint a picture. Let's see whether a picture is emerging in front of you. So my submission to all of you is that each one of you, whoever is on this webinar, try to concentrate. I don't think we would speak for 2.5 hours because to my mind that's pretty long, but I'm happy to speak, of course. I'm happy to speak. I've reserved my time up to 7:30 Indian time. So I'm happy to speak if you have the energy. So, and I would continue to speak if I see participation from you guys, which means you are asking questions and therefore it's interesting going on. And if all of you can go on mute, the participants, if you could go on mute, because in certain places there are some background noises. So I should unmute, and therefore, whenever you want to speak, please unmute yourself and speak. Please use your chat boxes as much as possible. And of course, let's challenge each other and come to certain conclusions as we move along. Thank you. How am I going to paint the picture? Let us say today, I think today is 8th of November. It's Wednesday. If you go to the market to buy flowers, for example, as an illustration, let's say you want to buy a dozen roses, maybe the price of dozen roses could be rupees 500. It's a hypothetical number, the price would be around 500. But when you go to buy the same 1 dozen of flower on Sunday, which is 3 days or 4 days from now, the price of this 1 dozen roses could be not less than 1,200 to 1,500 rupees. So today the price of 1 dozen roses would be 500 rupees most probably. 4 days down the line, the price of roses could double. And why is it 4 days down the line, the price of rose will double? Very simple. 4 days down the line, there is a Diwali night. More people would like to have roses, either as a gift or for the purpose of puja or for celebration. And therefore, the demand of roses are going to go up significantly 4 days' time. Now, when the demand for roses are going up because there is a Diwali function, the demand is going to go up, but the supply would not go up because the rose plant would not find out that there is going to be Diwali, and therefore I need to start producing more flower. That's not going to happen. So the rose plant is not going to supply more roses because it is a Diwali. It will still produce or generate as many roses as it used to produce. The price of roses on the Diwali night would significantly go up because supply remaining constant, the demand will go up, the price will go up, the price of roses will go up. We are all cost accountants, we are all accountants. Basically, we are also economists in some way or the other. So pardon my little throat infection. So you may have to suffer a little bit of my little throat trouble. So the way to understand any economy, any concept, is to understand the demand and supply parameter, the intersection of demand and supply, where if the demand goes up, supply remaining same, the price will go up. The demand comes down, supply remaining the same, the price will go down, and vice versa. So I want to paint a picture of this demand and supply scenario of the India as a country. I want to first explain to you the supply side of India, and then I will explain to you the demand side of India. You yourself will be able to paint a picture. How is this ecosystem of Indian economy going to change or going to develop? How is it going to happen? What is it going to happen? Now, so one by one I will take. So I will explain, as I said, the supply side of Indian economy, the demand side of the Indian economy, on as if we are all accountants or economists or professional accountants, and hopefully we will be able to paint ourselves a picture as to how it is, what is it in store for us. Is it a good news or a bad news? As I told you, the Indian journalists and investors looks very bullish on India, but the foreigners are not as bullish. At least the Financial Times and economists are not. Some of you say, no, that's not true. FDI investments are still coming in. People are still bullish on India. India, actually, FDI investment is not coming in. Unfortunately, it is not as much as it used to come in, which we will discuss as I go along. Any quick comments by anyone? You saying, by the way, as I said, I'm very happy to keep taking questions. If you have questions, please ask me the questions as I go along. Unmute yourself. Say, no, can I, Mr. Banerjee or Robin, can I explain to with this, or this is what you are saying? This doesn't seem to me my understanding. So that if you keep talking to me, everyone will be everyone will be more knowledgeable, and we will be able to make it more interesting. Please, for heaven's sake, for the next 2 hours, don't sleep. Keep your eyes and ears open. I am sure that most of you, or maybe all of you, will be able to gain some more knowledge than what you have when you started this webinar at 5 p.m. India time on 8th of November 2023. So, okay, just to make things interesting for you, maybe before I get into demand supply, let me give you one small little news as to how India is going to shape up, and hopefully it will be good news for all of us on this call, on this webinar. As you know, India, how large is in any country? How large is any country? It is understood from GDP, gross domestic product, GDP. If the GDP is very large, the country is largest. It happens to a company. When we say, which is the largest company in the world? Normally, we will say sales value. Okay, there are some people who say largest company is based on market capitalization, which is not true. Market capitalization is only about future, but sales is current. That's how much a company is selling. That's how the largest company in the world would be notified as. So the GDP is the sole consideration, more or less, to know whether a country is doing well, country is large or not. As you know, the largest country in the world. Okay, first let's talk about the GDP of India. What is the GDP of India? As we are talking to you today, the GDP of India today is $3.8 trillion. Let's say about $4 trillion, more or less. We are almost there. About 3.75, $3.8 trillion, depends upon what is the rupee dollar parity at what point of time. You're doing 82 rupees, 83 rupees, 84 rupees, all depends. So $3.8 trillion, or let's say $4 trillion. The GDP of United States of America, as I'm talking to you today now, is $27 trillion. We are $4 trillion. USA is $27 trillion. China, the second largest country in the world, is $19 trillion. Again, it depends upon from time to time. It's what's the dollar parity you are taking. The biggest country in the world is USA. The second biggest country in the world is China. The third biggest country in the world is Japan. The fourth biggest country is Germany. Both Japan and Germany is about $4.2, $4.3, $4.4 trillion. India is the fifth largest country in the world. We are $3.8 trillion. This is known by you. Everyone knows this information that we are fifth largest country in the world. 10 years back, today's 2013, 2023, 2013 or 2014, India was 10th largest country, 10th. In the last 10 years, India has moved up from the 10th position to the 5th position. Very, very nice. All of you know that. Almost most of you know about this. This is so far, no, this is known. India will become the 3rd largest country in the world. 3rd largest. That means we are going to bypass $4.4 trillion of Germany and Japan by 2027, 2028. That means between 4 and 5 years, as it seems to be today, as I'm talking to you, based on all the numbers, India is most likely to become the 3rd largest country in the world by 2027, 4 years from now. So that's okay. This is also known by you, known to you. But the two information which perhaps you're not knowing, perhaps you don't, maybe you have missed it, is that India will bypass. So India will become the 3rd largest country in the world by another 4 to 5 years. India will cross the GDP of all the European nations together, all the European 27 of them together, all the 27 countries, all the European nations together. India is going to cross that GDP of all the 27, all the European Union countries by 2050, 2050. Perhaps you have not been exposed to this information. So that, ladies and gentlemen, we are in a country, our motherland is in a country that we are going to be larger than European Union. So why should there not be opportunities for you and me? Why the hell there will not be an opportunity? There'll be loads and loads of opportunities, ladies and gentlemen, loads and loads of opportunities. Okay, very good. This is also perhaps, I don't know whether you've heard this, but this is an information. And I'll also tell you the basis of this. The next information may not be, you have not heard perhaps. India is going to bypass the GDP of United States of America, the largest country in the world, by the year 2075, 2075. I am not going to see that. I will not be able to be the lucky one to see that. Some of you, and I can see Aman very young, you will be able to see it, Aman. You'll be able to see that India becomes the largest country in the world, for sure. You'll be able to see. So I'm not too sure whether Kundu sir can be able to see, but at least I will not be able to see. But many of you on this call, many of this in the webinar will be able to see that. Now, you are cost accountants, you people are professional guys, you will say, okay, Mr. Banerjee, you have shared this, but what is the assumption? This seems to be too good to be true. So what is the assumption? There are two assumptions. The assumption number one, that India will grow at 5.8%. India will grow at 5.8% for the next 5 years. I will ask you the question, do you think it is logical to assume that? There's the first 5 years. That means up to 2028, India will grow at 5.6%, 5.8%. The next 10 years, that means up to, let's say, 2030, it could be 10 years or 12 years, India will grow at 4.8%. Do you think it is possible? And thereafter, after 2040, if India grows between 4.2 and 4.4%, we will become the larger than European Union. We will become by 2050, and this country of India will become larger than United States of America by 2075. Do you think this assumption is reasonable? Let me tell you, last quarter, India on dollar terms has grown 7.2%. And consistently, India is growing at 6.5%, with the World Bank estimating that this year, as I'm talking to you, this year, 23-24, India will end in between 6.4 to 6.5%. That means even if our growth becomes 1% less than what we are growing today, India will surpass European Union, surplus United States of America. So this is the country we are talking about. So Okay, now who has given this information? This information has been worked out by Goldman Sachs. You can do a Google anti-check if you want later on, not now while I'm talking to you. Goldman Sachs, it has been, and surprise, surprise, this has been endorsed. This information has been endorsed by the magazine called The Economist, which is the world's most credible magazine, economic magazine. So, having said, given this information, any question anyone have just to make things interesting? Yes, Aman. Hi. At least you are one of them who is having the video on. At least you have more transparency.
No, I think most of us are trying to get it, but there is always a lag coming in.
Go ahead.
So, but anyways, back to my question.
Yes.
With things after 2019, haven't these assumptions, the baseline assumptions have changed to quite a lot? India has already become a dominant market, as in the consumptions market. And what's stopping for 5 years? I think that's what we are looking forward. And after the COVID scenario, the service sector has changed. After the war looming in the European side and the nations going on. So it's not only India going up, but the other nations also going down. Would also that be a factor in it?
Absolutely correct. Your assumption is perfectly correct, Aman. I'm so glad that you raised this issue. India growth assumption is around 5.5%, as I just told you, 5.8%. The World Bank or WHO is estimating India will grow at consistent between 6.5 to 7%. Most of the Indian analysts is estimating India will grow between 7% and 8%. However, the world is not going to grow at that rate. Japan and Germany, which is the third and fourth largest country, is going to grow between 1 and 2%. And China, which is our competition, while we are not, of course, we are going to bypass China. China is growing at 4%, and I'll come to that. When I will explain to you the Indian ecosystem, and I'm going to explain to you through demand and supply concept, I will also explain to you why China is a great advantage for us, why China is a great story for us, and why China is what China is today, why China is declining, why China as a country was growing at 8%, 10%, 9%, 10% from 2080 for the last 30 years, from 1980 to 2010, 30 years, China grew at 10% plus, and that is why China is, and why they are not growing today, and I'll explain to you that for sure. But yes, Aman, your assumption is correct. While we are going to grow faster, others are not going to grow as fast because of geopolitical and other situation. Of course, I'll try to explain to you. But if that is okay with you, I will now move to the concept of demand and supply of the Indian economy. I'm going to tell you, by the way, I must explain, I'm not a politician. I don't have any political connections, and no one pays me for any political stuff. I'm one of you. I'm an economist, and I'm going to try to explain through economics, the way India is shaping up, and the world is going to shape up, because that's how our topic today is, the ecosystem, and therefore the opportunities for all of us. That's our topic. Supply side. I'll go through supply side. In the supply side, and not in order of priority, but let me tell you one after one how things have changed during the last several years, and the supply situation. And the supply situation is looking quite different. One change which has happened in supply situation, which is in 2017, is the coming up of or introduction of GST. Now, all of your accountants, I don't have to explain to you what is GST, goods and service tax. Prior to GST in 2017, there was something called excise duty and sales tax. But what used to happen is the Indian entrepreneurs, many of them were not paying central excise duty and sales tax. Why? Because there was no system. There was not enough good system to catch people who were not paying the taxes. What has happened? GST is like a VAT. That means the input tax has to be offset by the output tax. So if I'm a purchaser, I purchase something from someone, I have to ensure that my supplier has paid GST, because I will get a set off while I am going to be pay the GST. So there is automatic checks and balances in the economy that the GST is perforce paid. That is one check. The second check is every GST payment is subject to a unique GST number, and therefore there is an invoice number. The invoice number is centrally controlled. So someone, a policeman or an inspector on the road, a truck is carrying goods, that the truck can be stopped on the road, ask for the GST invoice. The policeman or the inspector can check whether GST number is correct and the invoice is correct to ensure that the invoice has been subjected to GST, and therefore more people are paying GST. Now, what has happened? What is the change therefore? Change number one. The collection of excise duty and central sales tax, which used to be about 70 to 80,000 crore rupees per month, it has now gone to 1,70,000 crore per month. Last month's collection is 1,70,000 crore per month. On an average, this country is collecting between 1,50,000 to 1,60,000 crore per month. What does it enable? It enables the government to collect more money. The government, which used to collect about 8 to 10 lakh crore, now collects 18 to 20 lakh crore, double, 18 lakh to 20 lakh crore double, and therefore the money can be used for infrastructure and other developments. As you all know, that the infrastructure has started improving. From where will the money come from? Money is not grown on air. Money doesn't grow on trees. Money grows, money is contributed to the economic system. Therefore, GST, when we see the pictures of Switzerland, when we go to Switzerland or Norway or Holland or Europe or Germany, we always talk about, wow, what an infrastructure, उसका कितना अच्छी infrastructure, हमारा देश में है ही नहीं, because हम लोग तो tax pay ही नहीं करते थे. हम लोग टैक्स नहीं पेमेंट करेंगे तो सरकार का पास पैसा कहां से आएगा? सरकार का पैसा नहीं आएगा तो सरकार कैसे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर तैयार करेंगे? China, as you know, is infrastructure significantly better because China beat the hell out of people to pay all the taxes. In India, the average taxation ratio is so low, it is significantly half of that of the world. If you go to the Scandinavian countries, they pay 60 to 65% tax. We do not even pay 30% tax, and we qualm about it. And I'll come to this whole tax payment. But the fact of the matter is, and I will come to that because that is going to affect our supply side discussion. GST, one single step of GST has made the whole economy more accountable. Before 2017, I feel it's my belief 60% of the taxes were collected. Today, almost 90% of taxes are getting collected. That means the country has become more accountable, more formalized. So one change which has happened in the country is the introduction of GST. The supply side has completely changed. I'll come to this to summarize this. The second supply side which has happened in the country is the corporate tax reduction. As you know, the country is to pay average corporate tax is about 32 to 33%. Today, the income tax of this country has now become 25%. So 7 to 8% reductions. In fact, it is almost very close to the best of the income tax, corporate tax regime in the world. Not only the income tax, corporate tax has become 25%, which is world class. The government of India is now going through a wonderful income tax or corporate tax regime, which says that if you start a manufacturing entity, and if the manufacturing entity starts manufacturing before 31st of March 2024, the corporate tax will become 15% for life, 15 for life. So just imagine you have a regime of 25%, which is world class, and India is now having another regime of 15% to encourage new investment in the country. Now, this has changed the way the supply, the lesser the corporate tax is, the more encouragement is being given to the entrepreneurs to invest and create more value. More value creation means more employment. More employment means more supply of goods and services. This is the second change which has happened in the supply side. And I'll come to all the supply side. There are 5 of them. Let me go through the 5 of them, and then we can holistically take a look at the supply side. And then there are 5 of them on demand side. And then we will see the demand and supply, how it is crossing each other. The third change which has happened in the country, significant, very significant change. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please do raise. So you can unmute and raise it as and when you want, or you can use the chat box. I'll be happy to take all your questions. I do hope there is nothing in the chat box. Yes. Okay, good. Okay. I can see in the chat box, someone says that please switch off the video other than the speaker. I think this is told by Samir. Samir, no, I have requested all of you to switch on the video because I need to see you, that all of you are awake and you are listening to what I'm saying. It's important that all of you can see each other. So it would be good that if you have all the videos on, unless of course there is some private issues. Okay, the third change which has happened. Now, maybe you have looked at this way, but let me tell you the way I look at it. I'm going to now talk to you about a legislation called Insolvency Banking Code, IBC. This has significantly changed the way India is going to do business ever. IBC came into existence in 2016. Prior to 2016, that means for 70 years in the country, if an entrepreneur used to take a loan, and if that loan is not repaid by the entrepreneur to the banking system, what used to happen? The bank had no means to collect the money. The bank had no means. There was the SARFAESI Act, there was other acts, but the system, the legal system is such that the entrepreneurs were going scot-free by not paying the money back to the banking system, because the legal system did not have the teeth to recover the money. What did IBC do? Insolvency Banking Code do? Simple. IBC said, okay, if you have taken a loan from the bank, 90 days I will give you, 90 days. After 90 days, we will declare your account as non-performing asset NPA, which means no fresh loans will be then given. NPA ho jayega. Now that's okay. That pehle bhi tha. Follow nahi karte the, but theek hai. But what then happened? What IBC has brought into picture is that the banking system will give another 330 days to settle with the banking system that how you are going to pay. If by 330 days you cannot have a settlement with the banking system, your company will be auctioned off, your company will be sold off. What did IBC do? IBC said, you are an entrepreneur, you took loan. Loan means it's your and my money, and I don't have to explain to you, the finance guys, that loan is your and my money. Loan is not God's money. Loan is not money which comes from the air. Loan is your and my money, because we keep the money in the bank. Bank then lends it. If the money is not returned by 330 days, then if the money is not returned by 330 days, the company will be sold off, auctioned off. That is how the SR Steel has become ArcelorMittal Steel. SR Steel has been sold off. 44,000 crore they couldn't pay, and it has been sold off. So it has become ArcelorMittal Steel. Bhushan Steel, they couldn't pay 40,000 crore. Bhushan Steel has become Tata Steel. They couldn't pay. It had been sold off. The company got sold off or auctioned off. IBC, single IBC, has made our banking system stable and growing and more safer. Before IBC came, an entrepreneur could run away with the money and nobody could do anything. Nobody. But IBC has changed it all. It's about 1 year time. If you don't pay the money, or if you do not show that you are able to do so, the money, your company will be auctioned off. Now, 3 changes so far I said. GST has made the country accountable. Almost 90% of taxes are getting collected, the indirect taxes. Corporate taxes reduction has made Indian manufacturing globally competitive, which was never there. Third, IBC, Insolvency Banking Code, has made our banking system stable and banking system more credible, because till then, an entrepreneur could borrow from the banking system and run away with the money. This is what has happened with Mr. Kingfisher. Why we are running after Kingfisher? Because when Kingfisher ran away in 2012 or 2015, finally ran away on 2nd of March in 2016 with 40 bags and his girlfriend, we did not have IBC. He ran away. The banks could not take over the Kingfisher Airlines, because by that time it's all dead, gone, finished, over. But that's no longer true. You will not hear those stories today. The third thing is IBC. The fourth change is happening in the economy, significant change. Again, is the Real Estate Regulation and Development Act, again, of 2016. RERA, you must have all heard RERA. RERA, हम लोग बहुत सुनते हैं ना. What is RERA? What is RERA? Why am I talking about real estate today? I am talking of real estate today. If all of you can be muted, that'd be nice. Every participant needs to be muted. There is some background noise. Am I getting a background noise, or you are only getting it? Aman, are you getting some background noise?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Could you all from the center, can you unmute? Just mute all of them if you can, and then we will unmute for people to give views. Okay, thank you. There is some background noise. Okay, let me try. So the fourth change is happening in the supply side is Real Estate Regulation and Development Act. What has happened? As you all know, prior to 2016, if you wanted to buy a home in India, the developer will say, "Hi, take care. You can buy a home for 20 lakhs, 10 lakhs cash, 10 lakhs check, 50% cash." After 2016, that is not possible. More importantly, before 2016, if you buy a flat, if you were buying a flat or buying a home in India, you never knew whether your money is safe, whether the developer will give you the flat, whether the developer will deliver the home which you have spent your lifetime saving. That is no longer possible under the RERA regime. Almost 95% not possible. There are still cases, very, very small, I believe. My experience so far is almost 100%. Almost 100%. If you are investing in a RERA property, you are almost 100% safe, because 90% of money collected by a developer has to go to the real estate which you have bought for. Earlier, that was not happening. They will take money from you and buy a land somewhere else. And that's why real estate companies collapsed, and that's why they were asking for cash. So four things I said: GST introduction, corporate tax reduction, IBC introduction, and Real Estate RERA Act coming in. But there is a fifth one. There's a fifth one. And this is, I kept it fifth one for the last one, because this here, you may not agree with me. Many of you, maybe most of you will say, no, that's not correct. This is not good for India, because this is what you've heard, this is what you have read, this is what at least the international magazines and newspapers are talking about. The fifth one, which has changed the India forever, is demonetization. Demonetization of 2016. It has changed India forever. Let me try to explain to you why I believe it has changed India forever. When demonetization took place, is there anyone from the central office is there? WIC, anyone is there? Pooja, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Pooja, can you mute everyone? There is some bad noise coming.
Yes, sir.
Maybe that will help. Okay, thank you. Yeah, now it's gone. Thank you. It's gone. So, coming back. Demonetization. Kindly look at it from economics. Don't look at it from politics, because it is not politics. First economics, then politically, it was implemented badly, but that's for sure. What did demonetization do? If you had a large if you had a large denomination note, 100, 500, 1,000, 2,000 rupee notes, the government said, give me that old note, I'll give you the new note. This is what they said. You give me the old note, I will give you new note. So when the banks were giving the new notes, what the bank was doing, the bank was writing down, the bank started writing down who was collecting, to whom did they give the new notes. So they collected who was giving the new notes. Now, therefore, what happened, simply speaking, the government got to know in 2016 who all have the money, cash kiska paas hai, because whoever has got the new notes, wo to likha hua hai, lik gaya. When demonetization took place in 2016, the total money, that cash available in the Indian economy was 18 lakh crore, 18 lakh crore. The high denomination notes that time was 15 lakh crore, 15. Out of 18 lakh crore, 15 lakh crore was high denomination money. When this demonetization was going through, maybe many of you would have heard that after demonetization, there was criticism. What is the criticism? Criticism is that all the 15 lakh crore has come back. If the 15 lakh crore come back, there is no black money. Economy में तो black money था ही नहीं. सरकार ने बोला था कि बहुत black money है, black money खत्म हो जाएगा. It is true that 15 lakh crore came back. Of course, people bribed the banking system. Whatever needs to be done was done. But all 15 lakh crore got accounted for. There was one, and you are our accountants, there was one theory given that because there is black money in the economy, some of it will not come back. Whatever money will not come back, that will be profit to the government of India. Reserve Bank of profit ho jayega. 15 lakh crore is the money should come back. Only 12 lakh crore will come back. 3 lakh crore will never come back. वो profit हो जाएगा. And therefore, but 15 lakh crore, every 15 lakh crore has come back. Therefore, the demonetization has failed. That is what they say. But when it comes to your accountants, money issued by the government of India and money not coming back is not an income, because it is not a revenue. It is a contingent liability. The contingent liability did not come back. How does it matter? There is no credit in the P&L account. So therefore, that concept that whole 15 lakh crore came back and therefore black money also came back, demonetization has failed, is incorrect. But the more important, the fallout of demonetization. Main do fallout batata hu. One, again, I'm saying I'm not a politician. Please do not mistake in me that I'm speaking on behalf of a politician. No, that's not true. We have to imagine, we have to paint a picture. What is India in front of us economically? Up to 2016-17, as you know, India has 140 crore population. You are aware of that. 140 crore is a population, 142 crore to be precise as of now. Let's say 140 crore round figure population. Out of 140 crore till 2016, how many people were paying income tax? Any idea? Yes, Aman, you were trying to say some number.
I think approximately 9% in the service sector were paying.
No, person bolo na, person nahi. How many out of 140 crores? कितना आदमी पैसा भरते थे?
Sir, I'm a management
3.5 crore. 3.5 crore people were paying income tax. 3.5 crore people were paying income tax. They were actually 3.5 crore people were filing income tax return. 2016-17, demonetization ho gaya. You know what is the number of income tax returns which has been filed this year? 8 crores. Yes, 8 crores. What happened? What does it mean? What does it mean? It means that countries can become more accountable. GST made the country accountable. Demonetization was an icing on the cake. Actually, reverse. Demonetization came first, GST came later. Demonetization without GST it would not have worked. GST with the demonetization it would not have worked. Today, wherever you are situated, wherever you are located, please go with 5 lakh rupees cash in your pocket to a gold shop and try to buy some gold ornament. Most probably 9 out of 10 chance that goldsmith say will ask you, sir, pan का दिखाइए. आपको कैश में गोल्ड खरीदना नहीं मिलेगा. If you have a cash and go to the petrol pump from your scooter to pay your petrol bill, they will say, sir, wo Google Pay mein kar do na, Paytm mein kar do na. Cash has already now 90% economy. You know, we have always heard the Indian economy is full of black money. As per Reserve Bank of India or estimate, till 2015, Reserve Bank of India estimate 50,000 crore of black money was getting generated in India every year. Every year. 70 years of independence, that imagine how much 50,000 crore in 70 years multiply karke. I don't even want to imagine the number. That is definitely larger than Indian economy size, which is 35 lakh crore. That has stopped majorly. It hasn't stopped. It hasn't stopped. Maybe 90% sorted. 10% is still there. And I am a businessman in the country. I still remember 2014-15. If I was supposed to sell some product in Delhi or to northern part of India, my product was 100 rupees. Somebody else was selling as 80 rupees because they were not paying excise duty and sales tax. But I was paying excise duty and sales tax. So that arbitrage of non-payment of indirect taxes have almost vanished. 5 things in supply side has happened, ladies and gentlemen. One is GST has come in. It has made the country accountable. The corporate tax reduction has made more economy more, let's say, competitive. The demonetization has made, again, country more accountable. IBC has made the entrepreneurs more accountable. When a bank money they take, that has become more accountable. And real estate, RERA Act again and become more accountable because now the cash component on real estate is significantly reduced because the RERA forces the real estate people, real estate entrepreneurs to write down what the hell he is doing. Full permission, full accountability has started coming in. These are the 5 changes. There are many more changes which has taken place in the Indian economy. I will now move on to how the demand side has changed. Any questions so far on supply side? I know I have definitely, let's say maybe tripped on demonetization. Many of you would definitely not agree with what I say, but that doesn't matter. Economics is what we have to discuss. We don't have to discuss politics. Do not mix politics with economics. Then we will take wrong decision because we are not professional accountants. Go ahead. Any questions so far?
So
Hello.
Yes, please.
Yeah, this is Sanjay here. Yeah,
Hi,
Sanjay
Sanjay.
here. You mentioned,
Yes,
you mentioned the number of IT return filers, no? So 90% of them are nil returns. So anyway,
Correct.
it doesn't matter. And as regards the doubling of the number, sir, from 2016 we are in 2023. So it's 7 years. So normal inflation rate, if you count, anyway, the incomes get doubled. So I don't see any logic in seeing that doubling of the numbers has anything to do with the demonetization. Yeah, I appreciate that it has increased, but the inflation effect, like they say in so many years, GST collection has gone up. This is more of an inflation effect. Yeah.
Understood. Fair. Maybe you would like to interpret that way. Nothing wrong with that interpretation, but let me tell you again, economics wise, in last 6, by the way, the number of income tax filing, 8 crores this year, last year was 7 crores, year before was 7 crores again. It went up by 2020 itself. Within 3 years of demonetization, the income tax return filing has gone up. You're also true. Out of 8 crore, only 6 crore has paid income tax. 2 crore has filed in nil return. However, the fact that they have filed nil return, that they hold therefore the PAN number, they are therefore, if there is any income, they have to pay the taxes wherever it is required. Their income now becomes trackable. It is all tracked. If they go for a foreign trip, it is tracked. If they buy something, it is tracked. If they buy a car, it is tracked. If they buy a real estate, it is tracked. It was not so because now they are income tax returnee. They have a PAN number. So you are absolutely right. Out of 8 crore, only 6 crore has paid. But there's no, obviously we can criticize. But for the first 70 years, only 3 crores was paying income tax. In the next 3 years, another 3 crores got added. That's not inflation, no? From 1947 to 2016 also inflation हुआ था कि नहीं? और जैसे inflation हो रहा है उतना standard deduction भी बढ़ रहा है. आज 5 लाख रुपया तक पेमेंट नहीं करना इनकम टैक्स. 5 लाख रुपया पहले was 2.5 लाख रुपया, 1.5 लाख रुपया, 1 लाख रुपया.
7 lakh to be precise.
7 lakhs to be precise, देखिए कोई tax return बोल
Yeah,
तो
yeah.
4-7 lakh
No, and
तो
actually
tax देने ही पड़ता है.
the biggest advantage what I see now is that a large section of people like fruit sellers, fruit vendors, small tea stall holders, and all those those were not under bankable schemes. Now they have come because their cash flow is captured in the bank account. They are now eligible to a business loan, however small it may
Wonderful.
look. Like
Absolutely
I say,
correct.
for
In
you and
fact,
me, a 50,000 loan,
I
1 lakh
must tell
rupee
you,
loan may be peanuts. But this
my office,
large number of people,
my office is in a place where there is a sandwich wala outside. अरे वो सैंडविच वाला that sandwich costs I think 60 rupees 70 rupees. वो अबे कैश नहीं लेते हैं. सर पेटी में भर दो ना.
no, what happened now? 5-6 years back, before demonetization or before this, all this UPI and GST,
Yeah.
what was happening is these people were also doing roaring business. But unfortunately, the bank used to ask, "Arey, show me a bank statement. अरे कुछ है ही नहीं सेल, क्या बात कर रहे हो?" बोलते नहीं हमारा तो सब कैश में होता है. So then nobody used to
Perfect.
give loan to them. This is the
Perfect.
biggest advantage which I think should be highlighted.
Perfect.
That small
Absolutely.
fellow, he is now come under the he will borrow or not, that is a different thing. But the bank can now sense the cash flow, which was not captured so far till
There
5-6
is,
years back.
yes, you're right. You know what? I gave this example or this economic reason through demonetization route, if you can well imagine. The advantages of UPI is another. That will be the demand side. We are now in the supply side of the story.
Oh, okay.
In the supply to the story, no problem. After all, what you just said is absolutely right. In the supply side, 5 things changed, which has made some business habits changing of our Indians. Like they have become more accountable, their income tax has come down, demonetization, jo bhi hua, right, wrong, good, bad and ugly, IBC aa gaya, people have become more, let's say, more disciplined. And of course, the RERA has brought a discipline to in the real estate sector, because that's a huge sector.
No, the biggest advantage we are seeing in the real estate, because really
Yes.
the black component, I'm not saying it will, or rather it will never become zero, but in 90% of the projects now the builders are telling, nahi, nahi, jo bhi hai sab white mein, pura white mein. This was something unheard of. In Bombay, city like Bombay, 60-40, 70-30 was a common. And people used to laugh when you say, I want full white. Like that. But now almost all the institutional builders and almost 9 out of 10 cases now you will find people insist on a full white. That is the biggest advantage.
One of you want to ask a question. There's a hand has been raised by, I'm not too sure what's his name. Yes, sir. You have a raised hand. Yes, sir. I am not too sure. What's your name, sir? Your name is typed very in short. Aman has a question. I'll come to Aman. There's someone else also has a hand has been raised. Yeah. MD Bangard. That's how it is written. Okay, maybe that's fine. Quick question, Aman.
Sir, about the demonetization, I see mostly it as, the fair valuation of the national assets, how we do the fair valuation of a company. So out of the 5 points, I'm going to touch base back to you. RERA, again, it's a good move. IBC and RERA, no doubt there. About the GST part, I'm sorry for the disturbance. About the GST part, sir, isn't it because it has been more registration? It's moving towards more, bringing people into the organized sector of the economy?
Yes. Yes. Answer is yes.
And during COVID, it was mostly when the essential services were out. It was mostly the unorganized sector, the local people, local farmers, everywhere across the world, even in Europe, and India. It was the unorganized sector which was able to support the needs during the COVID. But wouldn't this be a contradiction to the practical scenarios and the emergency backup situations like COVID, when we are moving towards, people bringing into the more organized sector? When we talk about the GST bringing the GDP more up and doing the more registration. So wouldn't that be a contradiction here? One
is a contradiction. See, in any country, whoever does business, he or she does business by using the infrastructure. So we must pay our taxes. GST enables a business person to pay his or her tax. This about 40% earlier was not paying their taxes. Now almost 90% of the entrepreneurs are paying taxes. When that is payable, as you know, there is a large value on, let's say, up to 20 lakh rupees of value of sales, you don't even have to pay GST. So small scale, the so-called micro mini is still not affected. But the concept of GST has made the country more accountable. The concept of, you remember before GST came, there was MODVAT, Modified Value Added Tax came. Why did MODVAT come? MODVAT came in 1986, if I remember. And MODVAT came to make the country more accountable. Modified Value Added Tax, the duty you pay, you can take a set off. But that was only central excise duty. There was no set off for sales tax. The moment GST came, all the taxes, be it sales tax or octroi or central excise, which is now central excise duty, all of it together is now offsettable. Moment there is offsettable, discipline brought in, unique identification of goods and invoices have been brought in. People have become more careful that whenever I'm doing a transaction, I better pay my taxes. So you see, the taste of the pudding is in eating. The collection of GST has doubled, which used to be 60-70,000 crore. Now it's 1,60,000-1,70,000 crore. It's more than double. So obviously countries getting more money. We need to move on because obviously we can have our own views on, but whether it is right or wrong, let's not get into it. I did not say this is fantastic. I'm only saying these 5 developments have changed the way supply or business took place before 2016, 2017. This must be taken cognizance of to decide how the country is going to fare tomorrow. Hi, Aman, you have a question. Go ahead.
Sir, just one more point on the corporation tax part, which we touched on, that there would be a 15% life for the manufacturing. That would definitely increase the GDP of India. But wouldn't that impact the GDV of India then? And right now, as we are seeing, the world is moving from the concept of GDP to GDV when the growth comes into the picture.
No. Ultimately, what it all boils down to, which I did not discuss, is per capita income. Ultimately, it boils down to what you and me was earning earlier, and what you and me will earn earning today, and what I'm going to earn tomorrow. The moment you reduce corporate taxes, the business people will be having more money in their hands. And it is then reasonable to expect international investors who wanted to invest, they found India has only 15% corporate tax. Let us go and put up the factory in India. Why will I go to Thailand? Why will I go to Cambodia? Why will I go to Philippines? Those investments which are going outside to the other Asian countries are willingly coming back to India, and it's happening. Plus, the Indian government has also said for all times to come, I will only going to charge 25%. So when you do your discounted cash flow, prior to 2016, you did not know what is the corporate tax rate. कभी ऊपर जाते, कभी नीचे जाते हैं, कभी 90% होता है, कभी 70% होता है, कभी 40% हो जाता है. मैं DCF में क्या लूं? अभी now you know, you will take 25% flat DCF. So every investor knows what's my cash flow is going to be tomorrow. Therefore, if the IRR, the internal rate of return, is more than 15%, is an investment is worth doing. That's it. It makes more decision making easier. Therefore, and which I will come to, investments in India has started growing. It's a fact. Okay, supplies, demand side. Supply side हो गया, अभी demand side चल रहा है, ठीक है?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. It's 7 o'clock. We are already 1 hour, and not 7 o'clock. Sorry, 6 o'clock, and we are almost 1 hour. So time is flying. Lot to discuss. Lot we can come to conclusions. I hope I'm able to add some little value, whatever I can. Now demand side. In the demand side, the biggest development which is taking place, or the biggest development which will help the demand to grow, is obviously our GDP growing. No question about it. And I've already explained to you how the GDP is growing. India's GDP, as I already told you, we are number 5 in the world. We were number 10 years back. We are number 5 now. In 3-4 years time, we will be number 3. And in another, hopefully, God willing, by 2075, we will be number 1. So if the GDP grows, automatically demand will grow. Things will start working better, hopefully. So that we have already explained. The second change which has happened into India is exports. Exports. Now, from economics point of view, India is not an export intense country. India's export intensity means percentage of exports to total GDP. Percentage of exports to total GDP. In India's export intensity is 20%. If you go to Singapore, the export intensity is almost 95%. If anything happens to the global business, Singapore will collapse. If anything, Hong Kong, same thing. If anything happens to Hong Kong, anything the world, Hong Kong will collapse. Export intensity 20% is too low. It's good to have a country of our size export intensity 1/3, 2/3 domestic. That means 1/3, it's about 30 to 35% export, about 65% domestic. This is good to have. In India, what's happening in exports? In the last 10 years, the exports have grown by 75%. Today, India's exports is about $750 billion. So 23-24, the year we are sitting on, India is likely to export about $750 billion. This export, as I told you, one change which has happened, export intensity has gone up. No, export has grown by 75% in the last 10 years. You will say, okay, as percentage, how has other countries done? Are we doing as good as other countries or not? Exports needs to be broken up into goods and services export. Goods export, service export. In 2012, India's goods exports was 1.9%. In 2012, 10 years back, 1.9%. In 2022, our exports is 2.4% of the world. We used to be 1.9% of the world. We are now 2.4% of the world. Now everyone is increasing, but because India is increasing faster, our export to the percentage of total global goods sold has gone up from 1.9% to 2.4%. Services, there the change is significantly more. In 2012, exports of India was 3.2%. In 2022, exports of India was 4.5%. This has grown by 50% more, from 3.2% of the global GDP, global share, 3.2% of global share. We are now 4.5% global share. India's service export has become 4.5%. So a very important change has happened to India is that export intensity is going up. We are still far away from this 30-35% mark. We are still far away, which is I don't know how long will it take, but it will take some time, I guess. The third change India is having is green energy. Let me explain to you where we are. We are all accountants. You people are finance guys, and there's a great opportunity coming up, and I must tell you that. So let me tell you the green energy. India today produces and consumes produces and consumes about 400 gigawatts of total energy. 400 gigawatt of total energy. India produces and consumes 400 gigawatt. Gigawatt, GW, not megawatt, gigawatt. Out of 400 gigawatt of total energy, and now this is the change which is going to happen. Just think about it. All of you who are in this business, maybe you may like to look at it. 150 gigawatt comes from renewable energy. So today, when 400 gigawatt of energy is getting consumed and produced, 150 comes from renewable energy, which is non-fossil fuel, and the balance 250 gigawatt comes from dirty fuel, which is coal, oil, dirty fuel, which pollutes the air all the time. This 150 gigawatt renewable energy by 2030, based on the plans in India, is going to grow to 500 gigawatt. So 150 gigawatt of green energy will grow to 500 gigawatt energy. What does it entail? India from 2023 to 2030, India will invest on green energy $500 billion, $500 billion, 40 lakh crore. That's the investment which is going to happen in next 7 years. Okay, it could be 6 years or 7 years or 8 years. That's going. So the demand for renewable energy, demand for equipments for renewable energy, the demand for technology for renewable energy, demand for people who will do ESG auditors like you and me, demand for us, demand for people who will do the project funding, the DCF cash flows and the project funding statements. This is going to grow significantly. So far I've talked about 3 demand side developments. What? The GDP has gone growing faster than any other country in the world, any other large country in the world. 2, our exports are now growing fairly well. And we are now actually service export has grown significantly better than goods, but at least both are growing proportionate to the global average. Green energy is going to become a major investment in the country, including hydrogen. So green energy will have 3 areas, more or less. One is wind, second is solar. Actually, number 1 will be solar, number 2 will be wind, and third is hydrogen. Just information, as you all know, that the Adani group has already announced between 2023 and 2030, $70 billion will be spent on green energy, which is basically hydrogen related investment. The Ambani, that means the Reliance Group, has announced $80 billion. Now, whether Adani Group of $70 billion will happen or not is a good question, and I don't know the answer. This announcement was done before the Hindenburg report. So after that, whether 70 billion will become 20 billion, 10 billion, 30 billion, I don't know, because Adani is a power and port infrastructure company. So when they have to be in power and if they have to grow, they necessarily have to grow through green. So there is no other option if they have to be in their own core competency areas. In fact, they are now started selling non-core competency areas, like, as you know, Adani Wilmar, they are trying to sell because it's a B2C company. It's an oil branded company. So be as it may, so green energy is a third demand side development. The fourth demand side development, the fourth one, and this also, of course, I think we have already talked about, is a digital infrastructure or the India stack. The India stack, the complete change in the way India does business has completely changed. So everyone has an Aadhaar card. The way people are doing business, we all discussed. The small little fellow, the ice cream wala or the sandwich wala is now showing the Paytm or Aadhaar or taking payment through the Google Pay and so on and so forth. So the whole concept of DPI, the Digital Public Infrastructure System, the digital infrastructure, the India stack, has completely changed the demand, the way people are going to do business completely. It's a huge change. No other country in the world, by the way, India's 140 crore people, 85 crore of people are doing currently transactions on digital infrastructure. Some say 85, some say 90. So it doesn't matter whichever number we say, that's a huge number. No other country in the world is doing some sort of business. India last year has made 80 billion transaction through internet, whereas USA has done only 28 billion. So they're far behind. So digital infrastructure, India stack is the next one. And the fifth one, which nobody talks about, which is going to change the India's demand significantly, is something which perhaps it will surprise you, but it's a fact of life, is the Indian diaspora. Indian diaspora is a huge one which we have. Now, what is Indian diaspora? Indians staying abroad. Indians staying abroad are going to send money home. Indians staying abroad are going to send money home. And that is a huge opportunity. Now, what's the number? Let me tell you what's the number. The number of Indian diasporas who lives abroad are 18 million, 1.8 crore. The number of Mexican who stays abroad is 11 million, 1.1 crore. The number of Chinese who stays abroad is again 11 million, 1.1 crore. So the number of Indians who lives abroad is 18 million. Number of Chinese living abroad is 11 million. Number of Mexican, because these are the three largest countries who have diaspora. Diaspora means Indians or country people staying in a foreign country. India is almost double. What happens therefore? They're all going to send money home, which will increase demand. Last year, 20 to 23, I told you India's export was $750 billion, was 750. I told you the number. Oh, that is foreign exchange earning. Out of that, $110 billion is remittances from abroad, Indian diaspora remittance. And this will only keep going up. And that's the demand side of the story, ladies and gentlemen. That's the demand side. Just imagine how much demand will get created by this. So I have told you there are 5 developments which has happened in the demand side. 5 supply side, 5 demand side. What are the 5 demand side? GDP growing faster than any other large country in the world. It's a fact. Exports are growing. I told you the numbers. It's a fact. Growing faster than anywhere in the world. Third, green energy. By the way, as you know, by 2070, our country will become carbon neutral by 2070. No other large country in the world has announced 2070 as ambitious. But by the way, China has announced 2060. China obviously is doing quite well in the green energy for sure. They are doing very well. So green energy, $500 billion will be invested between 2020 and 2030. It's a great opportunity for finance people and businessmen. Fourth, digital infrastructure, the India Stack. That is creating a huge ecosystem, great ecosystem of demand. Everyone is now in the banking system. The money is getting accounted for, and money is entering the banking system. Banks are able to now therefore give working capital loan because the sales are getting recorded. And the last one, and perhaps the most significant one, that we have a huge Indian diaspora who are doing very well in the world. By the way, out of the Indian diaspora of 18 million, I told you there are 18 million, 3 million stays in USA and 1 million stays in UK. And so people who are in USA and UK obviously are higher quality people. They earn more. They're able to send more money home. Unlike, let's say, in the Middle East, where many of the diaspora are workers and their ability to send money, large quantum of money is limited. So 5 changes have taken place. In supply side, 5 changes in the demand side. I'll again come to that. Supply side, GST, corporate tax reduction, demonetization, all this made country accountable. IBC made businessmen, our banking system more safer, and real estate, again, black money has gone away and therefore more accountable. In the demand side, GDP is growing in India, more demand. Export is growing, therefore more demand. Green energy, growing, more demand. Digital infrastructure, more demand, everything is accounted for. An Indian diaspora, they're sending money home, large quantum, more demand. So in this intersection of supply and demand, India is a new story. A completely new story. I would pause for a while because now I'm speaking for 1 hour and 20 minutes. I would ask some questions if you want to ask, that you should, because now I will change little gear. I will tell a little bit about what's happening to China, why China is reducing, so that you will know the India, and most importantly, what is in for me, the cost accountants, what opportunities are existing or coming up for us is something which I have to cover. Go ahead, ask questions. So Sanjay is saying, I think the great discussion is going on. Mehul is saying discussion has become vibrant through participation. Thank you, sir. Good. Some good comments. But now Aman has a question to ask. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Sir, the Indian diaspora first. I'm a bit confused here. As in, because what we generally hear is if people going out of India, good brain going out of India, that is a brain drain from the economy, and that's a loss for the economy. But I could never, have that kind of an appetite. But this point do really make sense that they send money actually back home. So the old saying notion of brain drain, that is no longer valid now here, right, sir?
Absolutely not. Let me tell you. Do you know, and you are all accountants, that India is trying to sign an FTA with Europe? You know that European Union, some लोग एक FTA, free trade agreement sign करना है. I hope guys, boys and girls, all of you are listening. This is important. Huh? These will be small little steps which maybe you have not looked at this way. India wants to, or European Union wants to sign an FTA with India. Very nice. You know what Europe wants to export to India? Europe wants to export to India daru, wine and whiskey. This is subjected to 150% import duty into India, 150. Think you are the owner of Sula wine. Sula wine yard, you are the owner. आप नासिक में बड़ा वाइन यार्ड लगाए हैं, बहुत पैसा खर्चा किया. अभी वाइन आ रहा है फ्रांस से 0% ड्यूटी में. कोई सुला वाइन पिएगा क्या? Jalvinder sir, आप पिएंगे क्या सुला वाइन?
The conflict which is going between Spain and France.
हम Italian wine, French wine ही पिएंगे.
बिल्कुल.
देखो, so this is non-deliverable. 150% import duty. आप क्या करोगे? Demand number one. Demand number two of European Union is there is a great country in Europe called Netherlands, which produces fantastic cheese. Fantastic, called Gouda cheese. आप हॉलैंड में कभी जाओगे, गए होंगे, Gouda cheese तो आपको लेना ही पड़ेगा, खाना ही पड़ेगा. Gouda cheese is subjected to 70% import duty. यूरोपियन यूनियन बोलते हैं बाबा इसमें ड्यूटी हटा दो, चीज तो इंडिया में बनता नहीं है. अरे चीज इंडिया में बनता नहीं क्या बाबा, चीज तो इंडिया में बनता है टिल thousands of years. हाँ, हम Gouda चीज नहीं बना सकते हैं और शायद जरूरत भी नहीं होगी, इसको 0% करें, करना नहीं चाहिए. अच्छा, लग्जरी कार्स. अभी इधर इतना मोटर कंपनी खुला हुआ है, टाटा है, महिंद्रा है, सब लोग है. लग्जरी कार्स इन इंडिया इज सब्जेक्टेड टू 80% इंपोर्ट ड्यूटी. उसको बोले बाबा इसको 0 कर दो. तो अभी ये मर्सिडीज आ जाएगा 0% में, तो मैं तो टाटा महिंद्रा बंद कर दूंगा ना खरीदना. तो अभी ये है FTA, उसका डिमांड. अमन भाई, अभी हमारा डिमांड क्या है मालूम है? आपको अभी आपका जो अभी थियरी था, अभी इसका शायद टिक हो जाएगा. हमारा डिमांड है to allow our brainy people to go and work in Europe freely.
Okay. Interesting.
इंटरेस्टिंग है ना? देखो इंटरेस्टिंग है क्योंकि हमारा सरकार, and that is economics, that more people, there is enough brain within the country, but and the good brains, we have no problem, they can work in elsewhere, but the quantum of the money which they will save, will they bring in back to the country, will disproportionately help our country to grow. And every Indian living outside is always an Indian. They never think bad of India. Therefore, the country becomes more powerful world over. And अभी देखो ना, दुनिया में जितना बड़ा कंपनी ऑल तो CEO हमारा कंट्री का ही है ना. तो वो those people when they start expanding, वो तो हमारा कंट्री में आके they are trying to invest and expand themselves. ये जो 15% import duty हम किया है इंडिया में, it is Indian CEOs will now putting up factories in India, taking advantage of 15% because they have to tell their shareholders, why are you going to India? They're asking. I'm going to India because it is 15% import corporate tax. Germany has 40% corporate tax. मैं Germany में क्यों लगाऊं? मैं तो India में लगाऊंगा. Just because I'm in India doesn't mean anything. So this is how the ecosystem is growing. This is how many of our economists explain to us the wrong theory. Brain drain नहीं होता है. जब हमारे intelligent people go there, actually India gets much more. So be as it may. So this is demand supply. Any other quick questions on this?
Sir,
go
I
ahead.
have actually two more questions on two more
Okay.
points. One is the
Yes.
digitization. Sir, yes, I agree that because of the excessive use of the UPI and the digitization happening in India, it's at a very good pace. And you would not find that anywhere in the world, the technological use, what we Indians are using it. But then again, we do not have a sense of securitization or, backup planning for the hardware or these kind of things. So in the event of natural disasters, then we straight away go back to the Stone Ages. So it's like the direct descent.
Actually, Aman, when we have gone to the digitization, the risk is not of hardware's collapsing, because the cloud is very strong. The cloud storage and that technology is fairly strong, and all this digitization is through cloud storage. Nothing needs seems to be so far that is fairly stable. Seems to be as of now technology. But you know what is the risk in digitization? Cyber crime.
Securitization.
That is the problem. Cybercrime is the biggest problem, because there is no system on earth. There is no system on earth which is not hackable. If you have, आज हम बोलते हैं कि we will have driverless car. चलो driverless car लेके आप कहाँ रहते हो अमन भाई? Where do you stay?
Dehradun, sir.
You are in Dehradun. चलो Dehradun में you are in the mountains. Your driverless car कार ही चल रहा है.
नहीं सर,
Robin Vanage.
यहाँ तो नीचे चली जाएगी खाई में.
नीचे चली जाएगी जोरो. You know what I can do? I will hack your computer system and therefore make that computer not work in your car, and just imagine what will happen to the car.
Sir, I'm aware of this. That's what the concern is, where the security factor comes in the digitization.
Yes, absolutely right. Cybercrime is a huge problem, but we have to live with it because it is growing and more growing through artificial intelligence type of situation. Okay. Samir has this is Sandeep. Sandeep has a question. Aman, let's ask Sandeep has a question. I would like to have your views on economic impact on the conflict in the Middle East in our immediate neighborhood. Okay. I was actually moving to the world a little bit, of course, now, but let's move into the economic impact of the Middle East. As I'm talking to you, Sandeep, on 8th of November 2023, the conflict of the Palestinian and the Israel conflict is unlikely to affect India. And just for information, it is also unlikely to affect the world. Do you know why the conflict has started? You may be knowing, but let me try to tell you in one or two sentences. The Palestinian organization, not the PLA, but there is another Palestinian which the politicians of the Gaza. There is an Eastern Palestine and the Western Palestine, as you know, West Bank and Eastern is called Gaza. Gaza is ruled by a party called the Hamas, HMAS. Hamas believes, right or wrong, we are not getting into. We are only talking economics. Hamas believes not a single Israeli should live on earth. That's their belief. That's a firm belief. Whereas the PLA, which is the Palestinian Liberation Authority, they don't believe this way. They said Israel exists, they should exist, there is no problem. In order to do that, Hamas does or has this feeling that we must make Israel vanish. In the meantime, this has happened only last month, up to September, Saudi Arabia was going to sign a peace treaty with Iran. Iran and Saudi Arabia were coming together. Sunnis and Shias were coming together. If this would have happened, the Iranians, the Iraqis, the Arabians, Saudi Arabians, the Qataris, all would have then talked about one thing of friendship. Moment that is friendship, which means the Israelis will exist, the Jews will exist. Hamas did not want it. Hamas saying, this is the last thing I can happen. Therefore, let's attack Israel. Moment we attack Israel, they are going to attack on us. Moment they attack on us, our children and women are going to die. Therefore, the Muslim world will have, the Islamic world will will start thinking about us. And then this whole Saudi Arabia-Iran deal will never happen. This is precisely what has happened. But why I gave this background, maybe you are aware of all this, why this has happened. In order to Why was Saudi Arabia, who were the worst enemies of Iran, were trying to come together? Because now world has realized that we have to start thinking for us. We have fought for long, hundreds and hundreds of years. We have fought. This fighting has led us nowhere. We need to think for ourselves. We need to now start integrating ourselves so that we can become more richer, better. Our people can have a better life. This is the philosophy. And most economies, most senior politicians in the world are thinking this way. Given this background, that they are now more concerned about themselves than this so-called war of religious wars, religion-related wars, are taking lesser and lesser importance. Therefore, while it is very hard to say where will this war go to, the Palestinian-Israel war, but I don't think it's going to affect the world very much. Till now, see how many people have died already. Official 10,000, officially 9,900 Palestinians have died. And officially they are saying 6,000 children and women. Good, bad, and ugly, we don't know. 10,000 have died on that side. 1,400 Israelis died, as you know, on the date of the attack, which is 7th of October, I think, or 6th of October, whatever the date is. But in spite of so much damage, in spite of so many children and women having got killed, no other country have joined the war. Some Hezbollah from Lebanon has started firing some rockets, but these are all more semantics than anything else. So to cut the long story short, Samir, I think it is Sandeep or Samir, whoever has the question. Sandeep, it is unlikely that it is going to be affecting the world. It should not have happened. The world would have progressed faster. This is definitely going to put a break. But I think personally, not much damage will happen. There is a question from Debashish. Debashish is saying, from the angle of Russia-Ukraine war for last few years and new war between Israel and Palestine, what will impact of export in India? Debashish Gangapathy. So India was not exporting much, actually, Debashish, to Palestine. In any case, they're a very poor country. India was not exporting much to Israel, by the way. We used to import from Israel a lot because our technology, our arms, not the safety system, the security system in Israel is the king, as you know. They are technologically very advanced. That imports used to take place. That stopped. Export, we were actually importing a lot of sunflower oil. India used to import a lot of sunflower from Ukraine. So that has stopped since last year. The sunflower oil price has gone up. So, but that can be substituted. You see, sunflower oil can be substituted. That was import. Exports, imports from Russia and exports to Russia is continuing under rupee trade agreement. So that has not affected. Ukraine was not much of export, but Ukraine is the food grain hub of the world. Ukraine is to supply wheat. That wheat was not coming to India, but wheat was going to the Middle East, especially Egypt. Therefore, Egypt has started buying wheat from India. To cut the long story short, I don't know, I'm going to answer it. None of these four countries were export oriented. There were some imports from these countries. So in a box, it hasn't affected much. The best news is Russia would have affected us badly if we would have not bought the oil. Our foreign ministry, as well as the prime minister, done a fantastic job, not listening to Europe, not listening to US, and continue to think of themselves and continue to import oil. We get oil, as you know, at $60 when the price went up to the world as $95, $100. So we get a 40% discount to the oil. We also are able to pay some of the oil transactions are being settled in Indian rupee. That's also helping. In fact, the Ukraine-Russia war has actually helped India to some extent, philosophically speaking. So it is unlikely to affect us very adversely. So export. Then you asked, Debashish is asking, sir, what may be likely impact regarding recession in USA at present level up to 2024? Okay. USA is not in recession. USA will not have recession. What USA has is inflation. And inflation has also started coming down. USA inflation went up to 9% up to August. Last month, US's inflation has come down to 7%, and this month it is expected to be 6%, if not 5%. US's inflation has now come down. The result of inflation was US interest rates went up from almost 0%, 0.5 to 0.6% to 5.0%, 5%. It is likely that from December, I feel December or maybe March next year, the interest rates will also start coming down. If you read the international newspaper, they are saying the interest rates will remain stable for full of 2024, but I think not. If the inflation starts coming down, in order to boost economy, there have to be a boost economy. The interest rates will also start coming down. To summarize, there is no recession in USA. That's not. US is out of recession. Inflation, it has started coming down. Interest rates have gone into the peak at 5%. It is unlikely to go up beyond that. Maybe it will start falling also. Either from December or from March, you will be able to see that. So US is not a worry. Sanjay is asking, it is more localized war. So long as the oil market is less affected, the impact will be limited. Negligible. Perfect. I agree with you, Sanjay. Absolutely correct remark. Now, Aman, you had a question.
Sir, on the first thing on the job one, the latest one, what we're talking about, the digitization and the recession, I would like to ask your views on this one, how it would impact the Indian economy when we say the AI evolution taking over, a lot of automations happening. So there is again, the bubble looming that many people might lose their job due to the AI coming into the picture. So is that really a factor in our macroeconomic level?
Yes. So I was supposed to get into what are the opportunities for cost accountants, or let us say what are the opportunities for all of us. So let's focus on AI now. Artificial intelligence. As I'm talking to you today, artificial intelligence has not been commercially successful. You may think that, अरे कैसे हो सकता है that AI company has just got sold at $30 billion. They are now thinking that it will sell at $80 billion. Yes, future, there is a lot of hope on AI, that a lot of work AI will do and replace manpower. AI will definitely do some work. Let's look at ChatGPT. अभी देखो ChatGPT में, let us say, Aman, you are asked by your employer or your client, can you give me a report? You are asked by saying that, what is the demand supply situation of steel in India? तो अभी demand supply steel in India आपको काफी काम करना पड़ेगा. You have to do a lot of work. What is demand? What is steel? कौन supply करते हैं? कहाँ जाते हैं? अभी you can actually now go to the ChatGPT, ask this question, demand supply situation in India. Within 20 seconds, you will get a one-page report demand supply situation of steel in India. तो आपका जो काम, आपका जो consultancy मिल रहा था of doing demand supply steel, वो नहीं मिलेगा because that has been taken over by AI. अभी तक ठीक है? So that job they will do. Very nice. Now start thinking more. Can AI prepare the cost audit report for you? For which the cost account? Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, in the same context, not the audit side, but I was like AI, how is impacting the accountants, us accountants, all the things which are happening are leading towards the open banking system. And one that kicks in, once that comes into the picture. So bookkeepers as a post is automated. So all the, the accounting technician level jobs, what we can offer as, the number of increasing employment opportunities, that would be gone, that would be taken over, because then it can be easily automated. Your bookkeeping part, not the accountant part. Isn't that a loss due to the AI technology?
Okay. I was walking to that, but you have given me a right question, so we can answer that. Bookkeeping job, whether the bookkeeper job would have gone, has nothing to do with AI. It has something to do with ERP system, SAP and Oracle. The enterprise resource planning system, ERPs of the world, tallies of the world, can take away the bookkeeper's job. Has it taken away? Answer is no.
Yes, sir.
No, it has not taken away the accountant's job. It has made the accountant's job more simpler. Just because tally has come, accountant has not vanished. SAP has come, accountant has not vanished. Oracle has come, accountant has not vanished. The quality of accountants have already gone up because now we have to read, we have to put the SAP data. What does AI do, sir? As of now, what does Open AI do? Open ChatGPT. Let's look at ChatGPT because that's easier for us to think through.
Sir,
Let me explain this.
No, sir, the premises.
Okay.
So the ChatGPT is not the premises here. And when we are talking about the accounting software, I'm not focused on Oracle and SAP. It's more like the Zero, which is run in Australia, the Zoho, which is now in India, or the Vyapar, which we use in India. And, we get the automatic bank fee. And when information is being captured by your bank statement, and that bank feed is coming into your software as a support services. So the bookkeeping function, what used to happen for the AR or the AP sides mostly, for which the supply chain in the manufacturing companies generally engage those managers, the AP managers, the AR manager, they should have a good team. That work has been automated a lot. With the increase in the supply side, in the manufacturing side, the number of opportunities would not be that much then in the employment side. And relating to the accounting opportunities, that would give a rise. That's my question.
So 20 years back, I used to have a stenographer in my office. I used to dictate and she used to take it in shorthand and then type. I actually had stenographer. I don't have a stenographer today. Now the question is the stenographer out of job today? Answer is no. She does something else. 30 years back, there used to be a Hollerith machine. Do you know? Before calculators came, there used to be a Hollerith machine. वो addition करते थे, trial balance addition करते थे, ठक 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 करके. The Hollerith machine was taken over by the calculators. I'm giving this example because so that we understand what's going to happen. And I know I used to work for Hindustan Lever those days. Hollerith machine काम कर रहा था, और calculator आया. There was a protest outside the gate saying that calculators cannot be allowed in the accounts department because Hollerith machine, there were 2 Hollerith machine operators who they will lose their job. Calculators came and Hollerith machine holders did not lose their job. They started doing something else. This accountants now that automatically see today, if you are income tax consultant, the tax returns are automatically now being done by the government. All investments, all income is automatically coming in. Will it take away the tax consultant's job? Data entry, yes, but interpretation, no. So the whole economy is now moving towards interpretation of data, working with the data. The accounts receivable statement, nobody is now needed to be made. But the accounts receivable, once it is made, people have to call to the customer, Baba, paisa de do, aapka outstanding ho gaya, 30 days ho gaya, 60 days ho gaya, uska kaam bar jayega. So that accountant who is to prepare the accounts receivable is now calling customers to make the payment. Uska job change ho gaya, quality of job change ho gaya. In my view, these developments which are happening will change our method of working, will need us and you and me to learn more, better, more different skills. We have to adapt different skills to remain relevant. As I just told you, I was trying to give you that example of a steel demand supply information. You may still get a customer asking you, can you give me a steel demand supply report? You will go to ChatGPT, get a report. You know what is ChatGPT going to do? ChatGPT will give you the report based on publicly available information. It will search every information in the internet, do it in about 10-15 seconds, and put it down that this is what is available. But the publicly available information is also available with your customer. He or she is not asking for that information. He is asking for information which is not available in the public domain, Aman bhai. Therefore, our ability to take information which is not available from public domain, that means calling suppliers, calling customers, making an estimate of the steel demand supply, and that's the sort of work which was always needed. Even today, it is still needed. But yes, you are being now less, your work will become, I don't think less strenuous because your quality of work will improve. Today, you can actually write a book. If you go to ChatGPT, write a book on corporate governance. ChatGPT is capable of writing a book of 250, 300 pages. But if you go through the book, it's all trash. Because Google आंटी से copy करके ChatGPT दे देता है. Because that's the source. Source तो होना पड़ेगा ना. Source नहीं होगा तो कैसे करेंगे वो? As I'm talking to you, every information or every development proves that chat or AI will not be able to think like a human being. They are trying to sell you the concept, sir. The AI people are trying to sell you the concept. अरे chat GPT will think like you. They will do. But कौन बोलता है? आपको मालूम है? आपको क्रिप्टो करेंसी धंधा करना है नहीं करना है? बिटकॉइन लेना है नहीं लेना है? आप आर्टिकल पढ़ो बोले बिटकॉइन बहुत अच्छा चीज है, क्रिप्टो करेंसी बहुत अच्छी चीज है. मैं आपको बताऊं क्रिप्टो करेंसी है ही नहीं. क्रिप्टो करेंसी है ही नहीं. I know it is not something which I'm supposed to talk, but let's talk about it just now because you people are all accountants. What is a currency? A currency is something which is a store of value. चलो, आपका पॉकेट में एक बिटकॉइन है. Store of value. Store of value means ये जो it must be widely acceptable. आपका पॉकेट, आप देहरादून में रहते हो, बिटकॉइन है. आप देहरादून में कॉफी शॉप के जाके बिटकॉइन में कॉफी पीने की कोशिश करके देखो ना, 1 लाख मरेगा. बोले 10 रुपये लेके या कॉफी लेके जा. वो बिटकॉइन उनको मत दिखा. I live in Mumbai. Even in Mumbai, forget about it. It's the most advanced city of here. They will not accept a Bitcoin. They will not accept Dogecoin. No, they will not accept. So it's not widely acceptable. Number 2, it is store of value. That means if you have 10 rupees in your pocket, you know, Baba, 10 rupees mein ek chai mil jata hai. If you have 1 Bitcoin, it can be worth $26,000 today, $20,000 tomorrow, $50,000 after 1 year, $10,000 after 2 years. Can a currency go like this? Currency can go one way. It cannot be like this. There is no currency in the world can go like this. It is not a currency. चलो भूल जाओ ये सब. मैं कैसे चालू किया आज का काम भाषण, या जो भाषण मैं बताया तो डिमांड सप्लाई से मैं चालू किया ना. Everything in the world you should understand from demand and supply. All of your cost accountants, all of your accountants. Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, very nice. आपको बिटकॉइन के डिमांड मालूम है क्या? कौन खरीदते हैं आपको मालूम है? कोई इंफॉर्मेशन है क्या? अब दिखाओ. टुडे द बिटकॉइन डिमांड इज सो एंड सो. कोई व्हाट्सएप देखे हैं, कोई न्यूज़पेपर देखे हैं, कोई टीवी शो देखे हैं, कोई यूट्यूब चैनल देखे, कोई राइटर्स देखे हैं कि anybody is trying to make an estimate of demand of cryptocurrency? There are 1,200 of them, by the way. 1,200 cryptocurrency going on today. Forget Bitcoin is just one of them. इसका कोई डिमांड इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं है. चलो, इंफॉर्मेशन डिमांड का तो नहीं है. You cannot get. And if we don't have, who will get? What about supply? सप्लाई के कोई इंफॉर्मेशन है क्या? कितना सप्लाई है? बिटकॉइन के आपको देखेंगे, हाँ, they are only going to produce so much Bitcoin up to 2021, 2023. But the Bitcoin is one. There are 1,199 of them. They have not said, I am not going to manufacture Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. They will continue cryptocurrency. Supply का कोई माँ भी नहीं है, बाप भी नहीं है. कोई information नहीं है. How can there be a price of a product which is cryptocurrency if there is no information on demand and supply? How can it have a price? How can it be a currency? The value of cryptocurrency, for which there is no demand and no supply, is zero. Zero. But if you go to the internet, go through large magazine, you will see how brilliant it is. It goes on new technology, blockchain. So what? So what is blockchain? How does it matter? There is a quick question. Aman is saying, is digital currency different from cryptocurrency? Answer is yes. No, digital currency is more or less cryptocurrency, but the government of India, many governments are trying to say, see, digital, they are not able to stop cryptocurrency. Because how will you stop? You are in your computer, a cryptocurrency banaya. I am taking the cryptocurrency. And Aman, you want 10 grams of hashish. I send the hashish to your home. I can. You cannot stop me. You can. If you catch me, you can. But if you cannot catch me, today, by the way, Bitcoin price has gone up to $30,000. I hope you know why it is. because it is all being used for the war, Palestinians and Iranian war, the Israel war, because cryptocurrency is used for underground arms and ammunition, drugs, and women. These are the three things crypto is used for, because it is uncontrolled and not exactly unauditable. It can be audited provided your laptop somebody can get hold of, or your mobile somebody can get hold of. Till that is done, because the cryptocurrency is already there in the ecosystem, somewhere it is there. But who will catch how many laptops and mobile can be caught? Therefore, governments are trying to develop something called a digital currency. Nothing, this is all useless stuff. Digital currency basically means, let's say you want to make a payment to me. Aman wants to make a payment to Robin Banerjee of 1,000 rupees. What you will do, you will send the money to me through RTGS. बोला आपका RTGS नंबर दे दो, NEFT नंबर दे दो, मैं पेमेंट कर देता हूँ. मैं आपका नंबर दे दिया, तो आप 1,000 rupees सेंड किया. 1,000 rupees will go to a central system, and that central system will send me the money. Tuck, tuck. Okay. If you have a digital currency, you have digital currency, I have digital currency. The moment you say, I have a digital currency account, you have a digital currency account. If you send 1,000 rupees, it will come to me directly. It will not go through a central system. No other difference. It doesn't change anybody's life. It is just trying to tell some people of the world, अरे आपको digital currency चाहिए ना, आप सरकार का digital currency ले लो. But सरकार का digital currency क्यों लेगा? उसको तो non-सरकारी चीज ही चाहिए ना. To deal in drugs, to deal in armaments, to deal in terrorism, to deal in women. That's what they want. So crypto is a fraud on mankind. It has nothing to do with blockchain technology. Blockchain technology is a very good thing. But blockchain technology, because they have not been able to commercialize it, they are thought through this concept of cryptocurrency and trying to fool most of the people, especially youngsters, saying it's a great investment. For your information, in India, 20 crore people. What is the total population in India? 140 crore. 20 crore people have lost money in cryptocurrency. It is not my data. It is Kotak Bank's data. 4 crore people in India deals in shares and mutual funds, but 5 times got into crypto and they lost money. Maybe somebody is making money today. Making money means what? It has gone up. Tomorrow again, the war ends, it will go down to 10,000. Who knows? If the underground money is not required, the price will come down. So be as it may, you have a question on. Go ahead.
Sir, I have my last question from the supply and demand explanation. Sir, in the demand side, you mentioned about the green energy. India is investing heavily into the green energy to be a carbon neutral country. But then again, that's what my concern was in the supply side, wherein we are encouraging more industries to set up, more manufacturing industries to set up. So isn't it like, you know, at the net level, it won't be that impactful?
There is enough. There is so much. See, India's per capita income is only $2,200. Per capita in the United States is $70,000. So much more demand has to get created. And for the demand, every person needs so much more goods, services. More supply needs to be created for that. And it's the demand. Okay, why is China falling? One of the reasons why China is reducing is China's 24% of Chinese GDP is through real estate. Everyone has a real estate there. If everyone has a home, they don't need a second home. How many people will need a second and the third and the fourth and the fifth home? This is happening to mobile. Almost all of us have a mobile. Now, what about the second and third and the fourth mobile? So the mobile sales cannot go up infinitely. It has to taper off someday. Therefore, there is enough demand to cater to enhanced supply. Enough in the world. Why these rich countries are not going to grow beyond 1 or 2%? Because they are already rich. They already have everything. Now to grow on that is very difficult. In India, we don't have. Therefore, the base is very low. Our ability to grow will be much faster. That's what is happening. To cut the long story short. um, Somebody had a
Thank you, sir.
question, but otherwise, there was Sanjay had written one quick comment saying the recession is declared only when 2 consecutive quarters GDP is negative. That's not the case with US right now. Yes, you are right. That's not the case. So they were expecting 2 continuous quarters negative hoga, but nahi hua, hoga bhi nahi. US is out of recession now. There is still some people will say, no, recession hone wala hai. You will hear it. It's all nonsense. That's okay. See, people, the journalists, people read journalists articles if it is a negative article. If I would have been negative today, all of you would have been very happy with it because I've been rather positive. Maybe most of you are not happy because it's a positive. Acha bata ke chale gaye. I don't know that is right or wrong, but I'm not a politician, so we need to talk about what is correct. Okay, so quick word. I think we need to move on. I want to focus on some little skills. What cost accounting is to have in this whole ecosystem. In what is the ecosystem? India is going to grow. India is going to grow the fastest. How we, the cost accountants, will be relevant here. We already talked about artificial intelligence. That's not going to take away our jobs. It's only going to enhance the skill requirement of us. One area which we should all be focused on, all of you, should be something called 360-degree solution provider. I'm again telling you, 360-degree solution provider. You people must become a 360-degree solution provider. We make a mistake. Some of us make a mistake. Oh, I'm a cost accountant too. मैं तो costing को समझ में आता है. Clients are not interested in what you are. Client has a problem. Client said, Aman bhai, I have come to you. I have a problem. I'm not making profits. I'm making losses. Can you help me to make profits? That's all. That's their problem statement. You have to give the solution of the problem statement, which means you need to become a turnaround specialist. Now you will say how it is possible. I'm a cost accountant. How will I start now learning IT? How will I start learning manufacturing? How will I start learning HR? First of all, you need to learn almost everything, little. You may not be specialist. So it's a good opportunity, or I think it's a great opportunity. If 3 of you or 2 of you form a firm, where 1 of you are a finance person, 1 is a manufacturing guy, another is a marketing guy, sales and marketing. Normally, a company has these 3 problems. How to manufacture cheaply, how to manufacture good quality products, how to think through innovation, how to do what customers are asking for, manufacturing, sales. It's great to produce, but you need to sell, and we don't know how to sell. So you need somebody who has a sales mind, marketing mind, and we understand finance. We can do the money making business. So 3 of you can get together and have a 360-degree solution provider. What is a McKinsey? What is McKinsey? McKinsey is McKinsey because they always, if you go to McKinsey, will give you a holistic solution. He will not come and say, oh no, I'll give you an accounting solution. I will give you a tax solution. No, McKinsey gives holistic solution. That's why they're so expensive. The next skill, which I think would be very good for you guys, and because you're a cost accountant, there is huge requirement of people who can optimize cost, reduce cost. Cost reduction, cost optimization. Huge requirement. And it will be infinitely required. There is no company on earth who does not need people who can help to reduce cost. There's no company on earth. Now, no company on earth. So cost reduction, cost optimization is a great opportunity. I have met so many cost accountants, but not many talk about, I will come and help you with the cost reduction. Cost reduction also needs some engineering, technical training also required, because you have to identify where the problem is happening, where is the chemical formulation or the technology or whatever. So it's again a good thing that if you and a technology guy, a technical guy, and you, a cost accountant, can come together and work for a cost reduction, only work on cost reduction, cost optimization. I think your possibilities are endless possibilities, endless. Just focus on that and nothing more. So 360-degree solution provider, turnaround specialist, 1. Number 2, cost reduction, cost optimization. Number 2, Number three, this whole area of big data and data analytics. Cost accountants understand data the best. We all understand the data the best. So if you understand the data the best, it's a great opportunity. Why don't you do some special courses to do data analytics? Data, deep dive into data and come out with what does the data show? AI will do some work for sure. AI can do some work. Similarly, using AI, for instance, you should now have the skill that not only you will be able to understand data, but you will be able to use the AI skill so you can get the data much better. So data analytics, big data is a very big opportunity. I feel you people must learn, and there are good courses going on there. The fourth area where you people should focus on, and there is no end to this requirement, is financing. There's no one in the world who does not need money. We understand money, debt and equity. If you can focus on how to get funding, how to get financing, don't do a middleman's job. There are a lot of cost accountants or chartered accountants for that matter. I know they are working for financing, but they're middlemen. They are coming to you and me. अरे आपका पैसा चाहिए क्या? अच्छा कितना चाहिए? 100 crore, ठीक है. Now they will run to 100 banks, 50 banks, 40 banks, figure out which bank has appetite. उसके पास जाएगा, CMA data दे देगा, और पैसा लेके आएगा. That's brokership. That is therefore not doing too well. Okay, some people may be making good money based on history, but that's not a great opportunity. It is, of course, an opportunity for us. No question who will do it. We can do it. So, but I would like to go a little more, trying to understand your client's requirement, how to their balance sheet, what's the future, how much money do they need, how much equity, how much debt, and work on both. The next one is blockchain. Cryptocurrency, as I told you, is a fraud. Don't even work on crypto. But blockchain is a big opportunity. Blockchain is nothing else, as you know, accounting technology, which is self-accounting technology among 12 ledger keepers or 10 ledger keepers. That's a great opportunity. Blockchain, you can learn. In fact, I would request you either to take up blockchain or to take up big data analytics, big data or data analytics as a learning for the next step. Slowly, my throat is giving way. Sorry for this, because I've been now speaking for 2 hours. 2 hours and 10 minutes, I think. I'll try to wrap up quickly. The next 2 things or 3 things I would quickly say is startups. Startups needs help. Startups needs professional help. Startups needs money on raising money. Startups needs money on operationalizing vision. You see, startups, founders are usually an engineer, a technical guy. They don't understand money. You can work with a startup entrepreneur to make their dream come true. They are innovators. They understand technology very well, but they don't have anything else. They don't know anything else. So you can actually do negotiation. You can do 360 degrees views. You can do operationalizing their vision. You can then do raising, of course, money. You can help them to raise money because you'll be able to convert that into rupees and help to raise money. Startups. The next one, which is a great opportunity for all of us, is risk management. Most of us don't even think about it. Identify risk and mitigate risk. Risk manager. You can actually say, I'm a risk manager. Have you ever come across a cost accountant who is a risk manager? I haven't. Risks are two types: insurable risk, non-insurable risk. I'm not talking about insurable risk. Insurable is insurance agents karega. Non-insurable risk. Is there any company in the world which doesn't have risk? Every company has risk. What if nobody buys my product? What if the technology changes? What if my CEO leaves? What if the customer doesn't pay? What if there is a fire? Of course, there is a fire that can insure. But again, you know what is insurable, what is non-insurable. Even that is risk management. Risk management is a great opportunity. My throat is giving way, so I'll try to close up quickly. And the last one, in my view, is ESG. ESG is a great practice arena. Environment, social, and governance is a great practicing arena. Not only ESG audit is a very small portion. Companies are looking for ESG experts. हमको ESG करना है, क्या करेंगे, क्या करना है? Who knows? We can learn ESG. We can give all the three, E, S, and G. All the three we can work on. So these are the hard skills. So if I may summarize, I think 360-degree solution, provide a turnaround specialist, cost reduction optimization as an opportunity, big data analytics is an opportunity, AI, great opportunity, financing opportunity, blockchain is an opportunity, not cryptocurrency is an opportunity. Startups is a great opportunity. That's a huge ecosystem taking place on the startups. We can be startup specialist, startup advisor, startup consultant. It will not all, none of these will happen overnight. You have to focus on it, decide what I want to do, work on it for a few years. I'm quite sure you will earn millions. Risk management is another area, and ESG is a great area. Some little skills, if I may say so. The way I think you guys should develop yourself, my soft skills, I believe people should have communication. We are as good as a community. Communication helps us to sell. So we must communicate. You have to write correct English. You have to speak correct English. You have to make a nice presentation. You have to be a good presenter. Unless you are able to sell yourself, how will you become rich? How will you become, people will come to you? How do you sell? Through communication. So communication must be improved. Second, please be a good listener. Listening skills. Most of us don't listen. Please be a good listener. Great skill to have. Tell yourself, oh, I'm going to listen. Don't worry, I'm going to listen. Second. Third, ethics. Be honest. Ethics cannot be compromised. You can make dishonesty short-term, long-term, dishonesty doesn't pay. Fourth, be cool and calm. Mr. Dhoni, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, cool and calm. There is no substitute for being cool and calm. Don't get ruffled. Client doesn't want their consultant to see ruffled. If you're a CFO or a finance person, your boss doesn't want you. Oh my God, Aman is ruffled, man. Aman is not ruffled. Cool and calm. Ruffled under, but show that you are cool and calm. Because by being ruffled, nothing will happen. And the last one, ladies and gentlemen, please have a positive attitude. A positive attitude will enable you to do everything. What is positive attitude? अरे ये नहीं हो सकता यार, कैसे होता है, सब खराब है. That is negativity. कुछ नहीं खराब है. जो है तो है. You cannot change everything. You have to change yourself. No one will change for you. We have to say, हो जाएगा. Can do attitude. I will do it. It will be done. Tell this word to your boss. It will be done. The boss is happy. You are also happy because you know, अरे boss तो happy हो गया. You will be done and you will also be able to do it. Positive attitude gives so much of positivity, so much of positive energy. People will love you for that. In short, communication, very important. Listen, be a good listener. Ethics, governance cannot be compromised. Be cool and calm. And the last one, and the most important one, positive attitude. The world will be at your feet. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and the question to you.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Sir.
Hello.
Yes, I'm listening.
Two important things you have explained very nicely, and that is not only very useful in professional life, but in personal life and family life also. That is positive attitude and good listening. That only not required in your career, but it required in your family as well as in your surrounding friends and circles also. This is very, very important points. Most of the professionals are not keeping in mind while doing their business also. Thank you very much, sir. I'm Bhaviskar. Cost accountant.
Hello, Namaskar, sir. Namaskar, sir. There is a question from Guda, I think. Hello, sir. Can you please enlighten us regarding opportunities for CMA in data analytics domain? Oh, देखो, data analytics domain में बहुत opportunities है. अरे ये तो data किसको आता है? Cost accountants हम लोग को आता है ना? If we don't understand data, who will understand data? Data analytics, अभी जो data analytics leader है, कभी भी काम कर रहे हो कहीं, you are of advisor, whatever you're doing, you will see the data analyst is an IT guy. How can IT understand data, man? It is accountants who understand data. You and me understand data. तो डेटा एनालिटिक्स के ऊपर एक कोर्स कर लीजिए जो हमारा CMA में अभी भी we are not good at, our study material is not good at. Do an outside course, full-fledged data analytics course. Data is money. Data is future. If you can evaluate, control, or interpret data, your employer will love you. You just tell, I am a cost accountant practicing in data analytics. After 1 year, you will give me your commission, okay? Send me the commission home. Believe me, you will have no place to keep your money. Data analytics is a huge opportunity. Data analytics जब सीखोगे ना, उसके साथ AI घुसा लेना, AI लगा लेना, because AI will help you to extract data much better. It's a great opportunity. Good session. Okay, great session. Okay, can you suggest any course, please? All these courses, data analytics course, big data course, blockchain course, risk management course, ESG. It's sabhi the course here. Now you have to decide what you want to do. Listen, all of you, you are my fellow professional. I'm a CMA, you people are CMAs. Most of you are. I'm available anytime you want my help. I can always be, you will let me know. My name is Robin Banerjee. I'm available in LinkedIn. You can always type it. Okay, I will type my email ID right away so that if we can always have a chat outside of this, if in case that helps you. Yeah, what else? Whatever little I know, I will share with you, because everything cannot be shared, of course, here, because after it's a structured program, and I do understand every question. You may start thinking about it also, whatever we have discussed today. Acha, aisa bola hai ki kya kaise kare? There you are. Now my connects are with you. No false promises. Whatever I can do, I will always do for you. We're all at it together, and I would really love to hear that you are succeeding. And maybe you have got something out of this session. Even if you've got 1 millimeter, that is good, worth it. But I must tell everyone, you are in a great country. We are in a growth phase. It's a tipping point for India. Great opportunity. Thoda soch ke karo, bahut acha hoga. Either be a specialist or be a 360-degree solution provider. Either be a generally 360 degrees or be a specialist, data analyst or artificial intelligence, blockchain or risk manager or ESG. Be a specialist, you will do very well. I still feel big data analytics is a lot of scope. Cost reduction, huge opportunity. There is no company on earth which doesn't want cost reduction. You go to them, sir, I will reduce your cost by 10%, 5%, give it to me. Jitna milega uska 10% dena. That's all. Who will say no? Nobody will say no. Permanent customers you will have all the time. Nobody will say no. And if cost accountants don't know how to reduce cost, who will know? Nobody. इसमें एक problem है. When you want to reduce cost, they will have to share data with you. Therefore, you have to enter into a confidential agreement. Give them, they will have to trust you. They will have to say, acha, if I give it to, let's say, Ratna or whoever, हमारा data लेके भाग नहीं जाएगा. So all that is required. So trust and dependence is very important. Thank you, Srinivas Rao, sir, for your kind comments. Oh, hats off to energy level. Thank you. Unfortunately, my throat has given way. So thank you. It is such nice to talk to my fellow professionals. I like my profession, and whatever I am, this profession has given me. Thank you so much. Any other questions?
Thank you, sir, for bearing with us and with your throat. That was really insightful. Thank you.
Thank you. So kind of you. Thank you. So over to the central, if anybody is there. Are you there? Pooja, are you there? Okay, Pooja so gaya hoga. Okay, good. Thank you so much. And please be in touch. LinkedIn is a great opportunity. All of us can be LinkedIn friends anyway. And I have shared my number. Yes.
Sir, 1 minute. Sir, 1 minute. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello, sir.
I'm here.
Happy Diwali. Happy Diwali to you and all.
Happy Diwali to all of you. Diwali to all of you. God bless you.
Okay, sir. Thank you very
sir.
much.
Okay.
Happy Diwali, sir.
Thank you. Happy Diwali to
Get
all
well,
of you.
sir.
And let's keep in touch. God bless you.
Sure, sir.
Thank you.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, Pooja madam.
Sir.
Hello.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Are you going to close it or we should leave it?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Ma'am, do we have to do anything to mark any attendance or something for the CEP hours?
We have mentioned our
write your name and membership number in chat box, sir.
Yes, that we inputted. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
We
For
have-
attendance,
and
please write your name and membership number in chat box, sir.
Yeah, madam. But you must have that. Who I attended that automatically you get that feedback also now on by software.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Yeah, because ma'am, since 12th October now, all webinars we have attended, CEP hours are not credited. That's why
Yeah.
maybe
Yes,
people are asking.
Okay, I will check, sir, and confirm to you, sir.
From 12th October onwards, there is so many webinars, but CEP hours are not updated.
Within 2 days, all the creditors will be credited to all the members.
Maybe they may be doing
Okay, sir.
simultaneously afterwards. Okay, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, okay.
Happy
Thank
Diwali
you,
to
sir.
all.
Thank you.
Same to
Happy
you, sir.
Diwali from
Thank you.
Dehradun to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Happy Diwali to all. Thank you,
Hello,
sir.
madam. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Are
Yes.
you going? Are you going to
Hello.
arrange any to get CEP credit? WRC is going to arrange any
Hello, sir.
physical webinar. CEP program.
Hello.
One day CEP program physical attendance. Hello.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Last time I have mentioned in our webinar, similar webinar, that we should have some get together also. So physically we should come together for one day for seminar for CEP and some important issues for taxation or GST or cooperative society audit, etc. in related to master especially WRC area.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I
That
will
will-
convey your message to our PD committee chairman, sir.
You communicate our PDP chairman that most of the people are insisting or they desire to have a seminar on audits, taxation, GST, because just government of Maharashtra started impaneling of society auditors for 24-26.
Yes, sir. I convey your message to sir.
Please, without fail, you communicate. Please, that's all.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You just check my name.
Thank
Most of the people are knowing me as a Bhaviskar. Who is Bhaviskar? I'm a very senior most member fellow of
Yes.
this institute. Yeah. Madam?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
Yes, sir. Yes. Okay.
Thank you very
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.